Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our reaction to The Bachelor. Listen to Your Heart, episode 5. If you are still watching The Bachelor, Listen to Your Heart, odds are you're confused, because we're confused. I still don't really understand the show. I don't know who actually wins. I don't know anything about it.
I don't think the show still even knows what it's supposed to be. Is it a dating show? Is it a musical show? Is this just all drama? Like, what is this show?
It's sort of like the performance of Natasha and Ryan tonight blown up, where you've got a couple of good moments in there, but then like halfway through it just gets really confusing and cringeworthy and you don't actually know what is going on. You've got Ryan holding a microphone and the guitar, not knowing what to do. It's
a perfect analogy for their relationship that we've been watching this season, being like, these two are not really into each other. They're not really together. This is not really about love. This is about the two of them having really nice voices that match up well.
And here's the weirdest thing about this show. It's actually kind of good, to the point where I think years down the line, all the Bachelor Nation snobs who were just like, oh, I'm too good to be watching Listen to Your Heart. I'm going to sit here atop Bachelor Mountain and only praise TikTok videos from the popular leads of past seasons. They're going to realize the gold that they have missed out. Okay, it's not gold. They have realized the silver that they had missed out on.
Chris and Bree is everything
Yes.
that I've been needing during this lockdown period. It has been so entertaining watching them fall in love. There was no question that they were going to be going through tonight, but it was still, there was that little tiny moment that was like, are they messing with me? Is this really, they're really in the bottom? Or is this just really to try to give me some heart palpitations? Because, come on, Chris and Bree, they're going to go home?
Yeah. All right.
Over Ryan and Natasha?
We will break this down, and before we do any further, if you guys do like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any other updates. I know and you know, The Bachelor and all of its many forms, they like to manipulate things. They like to stretch the truth.
Yep.
And quite possibly what may be the biggest falsehood in Bachelor history, Chris Harrison comes out tonight and said, guys, the judges had a really difficult decision with this one. This was not a difficult decision. Why are you even lying, Chris?
No, of course this was not difficult. They're not going to send out the one couple that's been like falling in love since the minute that they met, and you're going to send them out right before the finale. There's no way that they're not in the finale.
Yeah.
Over Ryan and Natasha, who have had their relationship, which is not anything. There's nothing there. They just have a really great musical chemistry, but seeing them together is just odd.
What are the odds that, I don't know if they're together now, but what do you think the odds are that they were together like 24 hours after filming stopped? I don't think they're that high.
Zero. That's where I am. Zero. I just have never bought into this relationship. It feels like two people that weren't able to really find that connection, but they found an awesome connection in music.
They sort of feel like on Survivor, you have two people who aren't in an alliance and you see everybody else in an alliance and you're like, hey, let's form an alliance and see if we can compete.
Yep.
That is Ryan and Natasha. They're both pretty good musicians. The obvious demise of the two of them comes with, I think, Natasha having some like out-of-body experience halfway through her performance of Perfect, and she just sort of forgot what she was doing and started singing the wrong part. The band was really confused. The band was really what gave it away to me at first, because they were just sort of like back there trying to figure out what to play, how to keep things going, and nobody in the room, like even Ari, who has no emotion whatsoever through basically a full season of The Bachelor, and Lauren, who said about 3 words the entire season, even they were perplexed by all of this.
Here's the thing. Even if they put out the best performance of the song that you have ever heard in your life, there is no way, if they're also being judged on relationship and love and chemistry and love, there is no way that they were going to be going through over Chris and Bree, who are the real deal.
Yeah, this was never going to happen. Let's let's talk about production manipulation here. Bust out the tinfoil hat for a second here. How much did they want Chris and Bree to get married at that chapel? Like, they explicitly give them this card. And I'm sure they know this is probably not going to happen, but I think there's probably a 2% chance in their head. They bring them there. They have them perform for this couple who just randomly has these two people they've never seen or heard of before perform in front of them.
Listen, I was 100% all in on the idea of the two of them going here and getting married last week, and I was 100% in on it tonight as well. I wanted this to happen so bad. It was just get swept away in it all. I mean, and they have through this whole competition been just swept away in the music, swept away in each other, swept away in their love. Why not just top it off already and give us what we want?
This would have been, if really Bachelor Listen to Your Heart producers wanted to go full crazy, here's what you do. You give them the date card, they go there, thinking that they're going to perform for a couple, but then instead Chris Harrison is inside, and he's like, guys, I'm sure you know I'm an ordained minister. And now your date is you must get married to each other now. We know this show is hot garbage. We need something to sell to people.
They even put her in a white dress. He's all in the nice suit. It was set up that all they had to do was just go for it.
He could have just been like, hey, you know what? It doesn't have to be real. That marriage we did on Bachelor in Paradise, the second season where we brought those two back, that wasn't real either, so it's okay. We can just do it, and then you guys can, if you regret it later, it's all good.
I thought it was still really fun to have them there. It was just, it's such a Las Vegas kind of thing to do, to go there and go to Little White Chapel, get married, all that stuff. So it was cool. At the same time, though, I was kind of thinking, these two are musicians and they want to be like big musicians. Singing at weddings and being the wedding singer is really kind of the bottom for singers. So at that point, I was kind of like, are they feeling the romance, or are they like, oh man, we're the wedding singers?
Here is the real question here. What would you rather do? Would you rather be the wedding singers, or would you rather be backing vocalist to 1990 singing sensation Shaggy, who is performing It Wasn't Me, a song that I have not heard in at least 15 years?
Listen, that date,
okay, let's hear this.
You're gonna send two people on a date that are already kind of struggling in their relationship. You're not gonna give them any romance. You're gonna have them have Shaggy singing to them a song about cheating and getting caught cheating over and over again. Like, it was so weird. This episode was so weird.
Was there not any other Las Vegas person available that you could have brought? Or Shaggy, I know he doesn't exactly have like an enormous library of hits that people know, but
he has other songs that are not about cheating.
He's not a total one-hit wonder.
No, he is not.
No.
So, yeah, pull something else out of the catalog. This was so weird.
It was, everything was so weird with Matt and Rudy. First you have, I don't know what happened here. I don't know if Matt and Rudy just like called an audible on the middle of production and was just like, nah, we're not going to go to Vegas. We're good. We're just going to go to this weird, creepy hotel instead.
Yeah, and they spent the night alone there. And it was interesting because then you saw in the promos where they were talking about, in the fantasy suite. And I'm like, okay, these two were already together on their own. So is this really like a big deal anymore?
I don't know if we can call that a fantasy suite that they had. I think we can call that the, based on all that ghost stuff at the end of this, maybe it was the terror suite.
It could have been.
But they still have this, but then, as cringeworthy as the Ryan and Natasha, you would think that would be the most uncomfortable that we are in this episode. But no. We have this interaction between Rudy and Matt, where Rudy says, I'm falling in love with you.
And he basically says thanks.
Yeah, he says, I really admire you're really courageous for speaking your truth. Not even I admire it, just you're really courageous for speaking your truth.
Listen, Matt, not you, Matt. You don't need to do that. I understand that you have your walls up and sometimes it takes a little while to bring them down. If somebody's telling you they love you, why not just explain that? You don't need to be like, thanks. Just tell. That would have fixed everything in this if he actually just said, listen, this is where I am. This is why I am where I am. And that would have been great TV for us too, because we don't really know where Matt's head is in everything. We don't know enough about him. We don't know why he has these walls up. This would have been like a prime opportunity to open up to us and let us get to know you as well as Rudy, who's sitting over there being like, what? Like, I just poured out my heart and you're basically like, well, that's awesome. Thank you. Let's go sing a song now. Like, it was just very strange. He could have handled that better. And I'm sure he must have known that it was coming. I feel like he can read the room. Even though his walls are up about himself, I'm sure he can see what's going on.
Are you like me and just the phrase speaking your truth? That I have been so out on this ever since Victoria P on Peter's season was like, I'm speaking my truth. You're speaking your truth about something everyone else has a completely different account of. It's sort of like, okay, enough with that. I don't think Matt is... The thing is, I don't dislike Matt. I think Matt actually does care at some point in some ways about Rudy. I think his reaction, his confessional after they had that really good performance, it seemed like he was so excited and he was like, I really want to perform with her forever.
Yeah, I think it's just when you've got someone like Matt, and this is where, you know, this is going to come in for Rudy of having some sort of patience with this. And I don't know Rudy from anybody, but she doesn't come across as someone who has the patience to wait for something like this. Someone who's got their walls up, that is going to take time, it's going to take patience, it's going to take love and nurturing so that they can trust enough to be able to bring the walls down. This is, well, how long they've been in this competition for? Like 3 weeks, 4 weeks?
Yeah,
like, it's not very long. Someone who has walls up that high is going to take a while to break through that. So Rudy, have some patience.
It really felt to me almost like because Chris and Bree had their big sweeping romantic moment where everyone got fully all in on it, it made everyone else sort of get really antsy and be like, I gotta say I love you now. I gotta do it, or we're not gonna win, or we're not gonna get all of these obvious production planting moments, which also include, by the way, Chris and Bree getting assigned a song that they just so happened to perform together at the moment they were falling in love with each other.
Yeah, it's true.
I do really wonder if production really just wants to get rid of someone, can they give them like, oh, we're doing the chicken dance? Like, can they give them a really bad song to perform?
I don't think they're gonna do that. I mean, here we've all sort of known where everybody's been sitting on this. This is a two-couple race here, and it has been for a long time. This is not going to be for, you know, Matt and Rudy just aren't there, and that's what's kind of unfair, obviously, about this show, because while Rudy and Matt are on a bit of a slower path towards love, it doesn't mean they're not going to get there, and it doesn't mean that they should be not rewarded for still being on the path and continuing to grow while the other two couples are already in love.
This is all just sort of coming back to, I don't know how this winner is going to be determined. I mean, if it is who's the best singer, who's the best singing duo, Matt and Rudy could theoretically win, even though they're not the strongest couple. But I think you and I know how The Bachelor as a franchise works. They're not going to let that happen. If Matt is not feeling it, they are not going to win this season.
No, there's no way. I mean, they want a couple that's looking like they're going to go the distance. And we do have two couples right now that look like they're going to go the distance.
This is where things get tricky for me. I believe that Jamie is in love with Trevor. I think she sees him as the perfect guy for her. They do have feelings for each other. I believe it with Trevor. I just don't believe it as fully with Trevor. I don't know. Maybe I've been tainted by what the show has told us earlier in the edit and I'm holding it against them. I don't know, but I just can't get into them.
The thing is I've I've put that earlier edit behind me where we've got Natasha who came in really hot, being all like, you're a cheater. And, you know, when it all kind of unraveled of what it really was, and that he wasn't actually like off sleeping with somebody, that it was some really inappropriate text messages that he regrets, and that it had happened like a year and a half ago. Is there never any forgiveness? There's no any sort of learning from your mistakes and moving on. You're just terrible for the rest of your life. It can't it be, maybe I'm just a fool, but can't it be that the right person comes in and things change for you and you actually start to grow in yourself in a relationship? I think it can happen. I don't think it happens with everybody. It may not. Who knows? I don't know what's going on with them outside the show. I'm just talking about sort of what I'm seeing in the edit of the show. So if you do know the spoilers and it turns out that he's a jerkbag or she's a jerkbag, I don't want to hear about it yet. So don't leave it in the comments, please.
We'll wait until the after the final Listen to Your Heart, which I'm sure they will probably not do because the ratings aren't good. I'll wait for the inevitable Instagram post updating me on the relationship status.
Yeah, their Instagram we broke up story.
Yeah, if they're gonna do I want to know if it's gonna be a joint statement or they each going to do we'll see what happens with it if they don't end up together. I will say this, however skeptical I may be, Ari and Lauren were on the show tonight. They are together. They have a kid. I do not think that about 99% of the audience would have predicted that after Ari's debacle of an endgame. So anything can happen in the world of Bachelor Nation.
Yeah, I think it's just, those situations, that's what's so tough about Bachelor and Bachelorette in general, is that you are sort of in these double relationships or triple relationships with people that all you have is romance and love. And by the time you get to the end of this and you have two people that you're really involved with, I know I'm going off here on another way, but that if you think you're making a right choice, but then when you actually have time to think about it, you realize it's the wrong choice. Ari hurt everybody and did not handle anything great, but he is with someone that he really loves and has their kid with. So obviously it got messy, but he ended up with who he needed to end up with. It's hard to poo-poo love if it's right.
This is how I'm going to predict that this season's going to end, is that I think it's going to end not so much with one duo being proclaimed the winner, because that's not really, ever since Bachelor Pad ended, and not that I expect a lot of people to remember Bachelor Pad, but ever since that ended with that guy, I think his name was Nick, basically taking all the money from the person he was paired up with.
That was awful.
It was memorable, that's how I will put it, but ever since that happened, I feel like they have been very much in okay, we're not a competition show. We're about love. We're about feelings. I think it's going to be maybe one more duo will be eliminated, and then they'll sort of be like, okay, this is your final rose ceremony, your final performance. Let's see if someone proposes in the middle of the performance. I think we'll have an ending like that, where it'll be happy and fuzzy and warm.
I hope that you're right, because the idea of having a competition where you're just judged on how much do you love somebody really stinks. And having it based on are you a good musician or not is also strange. They've married two very different things and made it a competition show. So can you really be like, oh, your love is better than your love? Like, I just think that's weird.
This whole show is weird. That's what makes this very hard to predict exactly how things are going to go. But, before we wrap up this video, I have a joke. If you would like to hear this.
Let's hear it.
I've heard something already that Victoria Fuller is actually going to be a contestant on Bachelor Listen to Your Heart Season 2. Mm-hmm. And the producers, they've already figured out the perfect song for her. Do you know who it's written by? Chase Rice. You're all welcome. Okay. Yeah, I know. I love how I hyped up that terrible joke. And I was thinking about that halfway through this video. Okay. Well, now we will conclude things. And what did you guys think about Bachelor Listen to Your Heart?
Chris and Bree for the win!
Are Chris and Bree going to win this?
Yes!
Is anyone going to win this? Is someone going to get engaged? Please give us an engagement, or at least give us like a happy moment. If there's no after the final listen to your heart, just Chris and Bree, do an Instagram live and propose then.
Yes.
Do something. All right, anyway, give us a like, and if you did like this video, subscribe, and you can support us further by checking the link in the description to the store. And we'll see you here next time.